So our next one's going to be Fulsome Supplements.
Yeah, I've been seeing you guys posting them.
Yeah, so we partnered with a company that makes like the cleanest, best like supplements.
Unreal.
Like it's not like a gimmick.
Yeah, yeah.
Like it's going to be USADA approved.
Cool. Okay.
So all athletes, all college athletes can take it. Like if any doctor looks into it, like they're gonna be like, "Yo, this is fire."
Yeah.
You know.
You are literally dropping your nuts on my head. This is how bad this is. This is G Fuel kind of shit. Maybe not as bad as G Fuel. G Fuel probably would have put in 1 milligram and then put it in the middle of a prop blend. So kudos for the transparency on at least showing me your balls before they drop themselves on my head, but they're still there. What's up guys, Derek, moreplates.com. Today we're going to be talking about Nelk's new Full Send pre-workout relaunch. This is the new and improved, legit as fuck formula according to Kyle. He was on a podcast called Money Buys Happiness in April, and they're talking about all their new ventures and their strategic partnerships and whatnot, and the guys who are getting them connected with the most like legit of legit, you know, people for each individual endeavor they're doing, and that includes supplementation. So you can hear him discuss in more detail why they partnered, who they partnered with, and what that means for the supplement line coming soon.
What their job is we're going to do a lot of ventures. Like this is our very first one.
Yeah.
But their job for Full Send is to help us partner with the perfect person in each space.
Okay, cool.
Right.
Cool.
So Happy Dad, they brought in the boot house.
Yeah.
To, you know, to do it properly. Like we don't want to do any cheesy, corny shit. Nothing. We want nothing to be a gimmick, you know?
So no cheesy shit, nothing gimmicky. They want to do everything legit as fuck and be perceived as like an actual good product. So I'm like, okay, well, like the pre-workout, it's probably, you know, very much improved from the last one, right? So let's see.
Yeah.
So our next one's going to be Fulsome Supplements.
Yeah, I've been seeing you guys posting them.
Yeah, so we partnered with a company that makes like the cleanest, best like supplements.
Unreal.
Like it's not like a gimmick.
Yeah.
Like it's going to be USADA approved.
Cool. Okay.
So all athletes, all college athletes can take it. Like if any doctor looks into it, like they're gonna be like, "Yo, this is fucking fire."
Yeah.
You know.
Okay.
So that's their job, is to bring us into the right partners in each venture that we do, and you know.
Yeah.
So the supplements are gonna be super legit. Doctors are gonna see it and be like, holy shit, this is fucking insane. UFC fighters are gonna be using it. It's gonna be approved by USADA, as in like gonna have no banned substances, presumably is what he means by that. And it's just gonna be legit as fuck. Like his optimism describing this endeavor suggests that it's like much better than what they had previously. From what I understand, their previous, I don't know if this is factual, I just heard that Bradley Martin helped them come out with their last supplement line. Now, I reviewed that one in a video last year, May 22nd, Nelk Full Send pre-workout review. And you should go watch it if you want insight on that one. But the overall kind of like conclusion on it was that it was nothing great, but it wasn't bad. Like for an influencer brand that like are guys who don't even really, to be honest, know what the fuck they're talking about, and they're just entrusting somebody to make something that is going to be decent. You know, it's not that bad. It was, you know, reasonable. And I gave them, I think, kudos at the time. Now, their new thing, you know, doctors are going to see and be like, holy shit, so fucking good. You know, people are going to love it. It's going to be super legit, no gimmicks. The company that they're partnering with, only just top of the line, best of the best shit. So I'm like, all right, like I have, you know, high expectations, obviously. And I got sent this from a Nelk Snapchat story, presumably. It says new and improved, the best in all caps. So Full Send Supplements pre. Focus and Energy Complex, Fruit Punch Dietary Supplement. So I'm like, all right, let's see the formula, bro. And here it is. So this is the supplement facts. Look into it. Forget the Full Send name. It's just the best product. Like a pretty fucking bold claim. Showing us the supplement facts transparently. You know, kudos for that. No proprietary blends. But when you get into it, bro, whoever wrote this caption, as well as Kyle, you have no fucking idea about what a quality pre-workout is, and whoever advised you on your thing neutered the goddamn shit out of it, dude. Like, this is much worse, unfortunately. I was expecting at least the same thing or better. But in fact, they watered it down so much just to maximize the margins, evidently. Like, this is going to be a very cheap product to make. It's going to be taking advantage of the lack of knowledge of the consumer, who is, the young, impressionable demographic who follows them. And it's going to work a little bit because you're going to feel the caffeine, mainly. It's basically an energy drink, more or less, with a almost efficacious dose of betaine. Like, this is what you are seeing here. We have caffeine at 200 milligrams and we have taurine at a gram. Like, we're basically drinking a monster, bro. Like, that's basically what we're drinking. However, yeah, you could argue this might be more cost effective perhaps because you have a, powdered tub. But like, people like energy drinks, and obviously there's a reason why a carbonated beverage that is in a fucking can costs more than a single serving of powdered pre-workout. But anyways, let's get into the formula. Basically, we have a negligible amount of, vitamins, minerals, etc. Like, none of the shit fucking matters. Thiamine, riboflavin, niacin, vitamin B12, and a megadose. Yeah, like, none of this stuff is really relevant. And there are actually no electrolytes. I thought there might have been. But, so yeah, anyways, beta-alanine, the highest... oh, sorry, it was beta-alanine at this dose, not betaine. Betaine is actually at a shit dose. My bad, this is even worse than I thought. Beta-alanine, the carnosine precursor that would be useful for enhancing muscular endurance for anything over, like, I don't know, like 1 to 10 minutes, I think, is the range that has been specified for where you actually get a benefit at a beta-alanine. It's not something that's going to be that useful for like a, 8 to 12 rep set, which is what the majority of people are going to be using pre-workout for, is in the gym, increase force production, get hyped up and shit, rather than like, muscular endurance work. However, there will be some people doing muscular endurance work in the gym too. It's just, they're more few and far between, and I would imagine a lesser proportion of the Nelk audience, but whatever. Like, at the end of the day, this ingredient works for what it does. However, you need to get an efficacious dose in. Now, what would that dose be? It would be, in general, 3,200 to 6,400 milligrams per day, including days you're not working out, because you want to get that build up to the 179 gram dosage found in the literature that is suggestive of any sort of, carnosine buildup that is performance enhancing. So there might be some, amount of proportionally where, before you get to that 179 gram mark, you end up with benefits still. However, at the end of the day, that is the literature that we are basing our, sort of conclusions on, is the fact that at the end of the day, you're going to be taking this probably a few times a week, 4 or 5 times a week, maybe, if you work out, a lot, and you take your pre every single time, but you're not going to be taking it on off days. And even if you did take it on every workout 4 or 5 times a week, or even if you took it every fucking day, like, this is a sub-efficacious dose that is not going to get that buildup that you need. Like, think about how much you actually need to take to get to 179,000 milligrams to guarantee this effect. You're way off, dude. Like, there's no acute benefits really that you're seeing using this 3 times a week at 1,500 milligrams. You're getting, the tingly skin, paresthesia, itchy butthole that we all fucking love. Yeah. And like, nothing else, bro. Like, it's not useful. That's it. Like, it is at a low, cheap, spit in your fucking face dose, bro. Maybe that's a bit of an overstatement, but like, I would have wanted to see this at least at 3,200, like bare bottom, like bare minimum efficacious dose would be 3,200 milligrams. And even then, there's definitely an argument to be made that it's still not going to do anything, except make your butthole itchy, of course. Taurine at 1 gram. Now, taurine is a useful antioxidant and can have some performance enhancement potentially. However, I do not think it is, like, personally, I don't use it pre-workout. I use it more so for its protective effects, scavenging free radicals, things like that. So for me, this is something that, if I'm looking at the efficacious dosage range, it's like 1 to 6 grams per day. And this hits the bare minimum of that. But it's not like this is something that is really, pushing the envelope in terms of like cutting edge, best, most potent shit, no gimmicks, blah, blah, blah. It's arguable if this actually does anything for you in the gym. Now, moving on to betaine anhydrous. This is a compound that I do like a lot. It is a osmolyte. It also acts as a methyl donor has like multifaceted applications, not from just a health support aspect, but also from a performance enhancement aspect in the gym in a pre-workout context. So this is something that can enhance power output, muscular endurance, volume. It's something that is a well-rounded ingredient, and like I would supplement with it personally for my genetic predispositions, even if it wasn't for hitting a workout that day. So for me, this is an ingredient that's like a staple in my regimen. Now, however, the dosage deployed to actually get an efficacious effect out of it should be at least over a couple grams in my opinion. Like this is something that like I like to see at least 2,500 in a supplement before I'm like, you know, this is a worthwhile addition and not something just featured on the label for the sake of claiming the benefits of it without actually giving any of the benefits of it, because it's something you often see on labels is they will include an expensive and really good ingredient, but then dose it at minuscule quantities. Now, they will often bury it in a proprietary blend, so you don't actually know how many milligrams you're getting, and you can kind of math out and figure out and extrapolate what it probably is, which is, you know, what we do, for example, with like G Fuel was a good example of a, you know, very underdosed product that was pretty easy to parse out what is actually in it just by looking at the totality of milligrams per component of the prop blend. And if you want to learn more about that, check out my G Fuel, the best, what was it? The best gamer supplement or the best gaming supplement, you know, LOL or some shit. But it was basically me dissecting G Fuel, and it was a cock slap of a fucking product. It was like disrespectful how underdosed it was. Now, alpha GPC, you know, I'm just talking now about examples of, you know, if you include a good ingredient at a, you know, it's expensive, it works well for what it does. There's a lot of evidence to support its efficacy. And, you know, people would get, you know, great benefit out of having it in their stack, whether from a nootropic context or a, you know, power output context or a stimulation context. Alpha GPC is an example of one of those ingredients in my opinion. And here you can see a literal, like, classic fucking example of what I just talked about. 25 milligrams of alpha GPC as alpha size. Oh, we included the really expensive fucking trademark version too. Doesn't matter, bro. 25 milligrams is going to do absolutely butt fuck all. Like, you are literally dropping your nuts on my head. This is how bad this is. This is G Fuel kind of shit. Maybe not as bad as G Fuel. G Fuel probably would have put in 1 milligram and then put it in the middle of a prop blend. So kudos for the transparency on at least showing me your balls before they drop themselves on my head, but they're still there. It's 25 milligrams is not a fucking useful dose. Like, whoever is formulating your product could not possibly come to you and justify the inclusion of this for any reason other than to feature it on the label. Like, for an actual like forced production outcome where you would get some performance enhancing effect out of it, you'd want to see 600 milligrams. And I would probably bend to be like, okay, you know what? Like, it's a fucking expensive ingredient. If you have a shit ton of other stuff that is supportive, you know, like you had like an acetylcholinesterase inhibitor too. You had other things that could support other like side vectors that would allow you to reduce the dosage to not just be reliant upon that one, you know, choline source in order to provide all that kind of, you know, the entire force production benefit. Like, maybe I would be okay with seeing like 300 to 400 in a pre-workout, because I can understand that you can only put so much shit in it, and, you know, the synergy of certain things that allow you to get away with less. However, there is a threshold where it's like, there's no way this is doing anything whatsoever. And this is one of those cases. You have 25 milligrams, brutal, absolutely a nothingness fucking inclusion here. So betaine at 500, I would have liked to see that at least a couple grams. And it's way off the mark. Not that useful at 500 in my opinion. Caffeine, 200 milligrams, you know, good dose, obviously. Cheap, effective stimulant, tried and true. This is basically an energy drink as far as where we're at right now. 1,000 milligrams of taurine, 200 milligrams of caffeine, high dose of B12. Yeah, we're basically an energy drink right now with some fucking butthole inches. That's what we are. Energy drink with butthole inches. And then moving on to N-Acetyl L-Carnitine Hcl. This is a format of carnitine that is purportedly capable of crossing the blood-brain barrier with great ease in order to give a nootropic effect on top of the, you know, metabolic benefits of L-carnitine. However, if you have seen my content on L-carnitine, you're probably pretty familiar with the poor absorption of oral format carnitine, which is why it is often injected by bodybuilders. However, you can dose it high enough orally as well You just need to have a much higher dose. You need to have like 2,000 milligrams to the equivalent, like, you know, standard injection that a bodybuilder would do to get the same overall yield, which is fine. You know, a lot of people are going to do that, and it's, you know, cost effective. It still works just as good. You just need to orally administer way more. But, you know, avoiding like frequent everyday injections, obviously a huge benefit. You would probably only want pharmaceutical grade L-carnitine injectable, so it's really fucking cost prohibitive too. And ultimately, as long as you can deal with the potential TMAO conversion in the gut, which may be pro-carcinogenic, which you could otherwise avert by doing an injection and getting it right into your blood essentially. Oral is like, you know, totally viable and makes a lot more sense for a lot of individuals from an efficiency standpoint, cost standpoint, not wanting to fucking inject themselves, especially on a daily basis standpoint. The TMAO is like basically the only potential problematic component of oral administration. But the overall thing to know is that the dosage needed and required to get an actual efficacious effect out of carnitine is going to be in the grams range, not 200 milligrams. So here we have N-Acetyl L-Carnitine at 200 milligrams. Like, are we really accomplishing anything here? Doubtful, bro. Fucking doubtful. So for me, overall, when you look at the original formula they had, like, let's jump around over it. We have citrulline malate 2-to-1 at 6 grams. Like, this is an efficacious dose. It's not, you know, maxed out or anything, but it's, you know, like literally what the definition of threshold of good is, in my opinion. Beta alanine, 3,000 milligrams in this one. Not quite 3,200, but almost fucking there. Betaine anhydrous, they had 2 grams. Like, this is a lot more well-rounded you're seeing here. Taurine, half a gram, you know, probably could have been higher. N-Acetyl L-Tyrosine, not a useful format of tyrosine in my opinion. The dosage, not a huge fan. Caffeine, 350. Pretty fucking potent. And yeah, it was a $45 product. Did I think it was worth 45 bucks? Probably not. Did I think it was an overall like reasonable product though for like an influencer brand that is just trying to give some sort of offering to their fans who are trying to support them rather than just taking like a donation or something? Yes, you know, I think it's a good enough product to be honest. But when you get to this and they have this new company telling them this is like the top of the line shit, it is new and improved. Forget the Fulsome name. It's just the best product. Like, no, bro, this would not hang with anything with any level of respect, to be honest. This is a product that might do well on Amazon as like a loss leader product because it is going to be so cheap because your margins are going to be so good because it costs fucking nothing to make. But that's it. You're going to be competing with the C4s of the world, you know, the fucking 6 stars of the world who are willing to sell a $20 to $25 product that is just like an energy drink essentially. And that's fine if that's what you want to do, but do not claim it's the best shit. It is not, bro. This is like look at the fucking size of this shit. Like, what do we have? 207 gram net weight versus in the original product we had, let's see, can I get a close-up of this? Let's see, for fuck's sakes. Just jumps to this clip for no fucking reason. 14 grams times 30. So we're looking at, what is that? 420 grams. So a 420 gram container versus, in this, we have literally half of the ingredients, bro. 420 versus 207. So they have literally half of the weight of ingredients in this product, and who knows what they're gonna be selling it for, but they definitely did not improve upon it. They neutered the fuck out of it, and it is going to give them, if they sell this for 45 bucks, like this was already a stretch on the original one, but it was acceptable. But on this one, like, this is misleading, you know, at best. Like, it is not a good product. It is, you know, disingenuous to say forget the Fulsome name, it's just the best product. Looking into it, bro, and it doesn't look good, unfortunately. So anyways, I think they have like good intentions, to be honest. Like, I think Kyle like wants good shit and shit people would actually want to spend money on, but he doesn't know. I don't think he understands this stuff, and he's just trusting that the guy he's deferring to is going to do the best thing. And it's unfortunate because, you know, ultimately they are being mindful of margins too, I'm sure. And I'm sure he's been advised to proceed with this. And I doubt anybody's told him the formula sucks balls, to be honest. Like, this is, like, I'm sure he has enough pride to not want to be perceived as like a literal borderline just like energy drink. Or maybe he does, like, I don't know. But like, to me, what he said in this interview, you would not say that if you knew what your shit actually had in it, unless you were like a total fraudster, in my opinion. Like, this is, if he knew how like poorly dosed this product was, he would not be saying the things he's saying unless he was like a piece of shit. But I get the impression that he's like a relatively genuine dude. He wants good stuff. And I bet he has no idea the difference between this first product and this one. He was just told probably that this is going to be a better version. It's going to be more money for you. People are going to love it, blah, blah, blah. You know, and they just ran with it. You know, that's just the way it fucking works. When you know, unfortunately, when you get advisement on stuff that you really don't understand, and this is why I would typically only go for like foray into products and industries that you understand, because otherwise, you know, you're going to be performing, I don't know, like you can capitalize on certain areas as a brand, but when you get into shit that you really have no business touching because you literally don't care about it or have no like information or insight on it whatsoever, like it becomes pretty hard to justify the ROI of that investment, in my opinion, unless you're just like an angel investor in some company you think is going to do well and you like literally have no active involvement in it. But like if you're putting your name behind it and like actively promoting the fuck out of it on a regular basis, this is not the product you want to have your name behind. Just put it that way. So anyways, let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. All the comments help the algorithm. Much appreciated. Like, subscribe, check out my blog, moreplates.com. Follow me on Instagram, @moreplates.dates, Facebook, Snapchat, Twitter, TikTok, Couple Podcasts. If you want to support the channel, you can check out anything I'm associated with in the video description below. My preventative medicine, hormone replacement therapy platform, Gorilla Mind, nootropic formulas, Gorilla Mode, pre-workout formulas, design myself from scratch, my recommended diet model for gaining muscle and sports performance, clothing company that sponsors me, hair loss prevention products, anything else I'm associated with. It's all in the video description below. Thank you guys for watching. Talk to you soon.